Hello everyone, I am Advait Purav, your anchor for today's webinar on how to be an entrepreneur. This webinar has been organized by the IIIE Council of Father Conceição Rodrigues College of Engineering, Bandra. The IIIE is a national council founded in 1957 as a non-profit organization and a registered public trust under the Bombay Public Trust Act 1950, which is dedicated to the advancement of industrial engineering education and practice all over the country. The institution has 34 chapters established all over India. On account of this auspicious occasion of the Teachers' Day, we would like to thank the director of our college, Reverend Father Valerian D'Souza, our Honorable Principal Dr. Shrija Unikrishnan, the HOD of the Production and Mechanical Engineering Department Dr. V.S. Hurapur, and the faculty advisors of the IIIExCRCE Council Dr. Bhushan Patil, Dr. S.K. Das, and Professor M.V.B. Rao, and other non-teaching staff for their constant support and guidance throughout the journey. This webinar is conducted under the leadership of our chairperson Khushi Mehta and vice chairperson Girish Chawla. Our special thanks to the other council members Path Rathod, Manan Nandwana, Ronak Mistry, Amit Dubey, Shubham Nar, Jeez Joy, Yashovardhan Khiman, and council advisors Shri Pandey, Sahil Shah, Uday Srivastav, and myself Advait Purav. We would also like to express our gratitude towards our alumni Chirayu Jha, who is the former chairperson of the IIIExCRCE Council. A warm welcome to all of you today. Our speaker for today is Mr. Manthan Dakshini. Mr. Manthan Dakshini has completed his diploma in production engineering from Vidyavardhini's Bhausaheb Vartak Polytechnic and his BE in production engineering from Father Conceição Rodrigues College of Engineering, Bandra. He is the co-founder of Brillmax Private Limited, which is the only company in India manufacturing traditional and innovative construction and drywall tools like drywall saw, utility knife, drill and screw gun, led by a group of passionate second-generation entrepreneurs. Mr. Manthan is an experienced co-founder with a demonstrated history of working in the building materials industry. He is skilled in product designing and development, production management, and Kaizen, and is a strong business development professional. Everyone kindly keep your microphones muted and camera off. There will be a question and answer session in the last 10 minutes of the webinar where you can type your question in the WhatsApp group. I will ask the speaker to answer the same. Manthan sir, I kindly request you to start with your presentation.
Yes.
Well, thanks Advait for the kind words. And I'll just quickly start with my presentation. Are you guys able to see the PPT?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. I'll just.
Yes, sir. Now it's
okay. It's visible, right?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Well, thanks for having me here. Today we are gonna have a webinar on how to be an entrepreneur. That's the topic given to me. I'm very happy to have such an energetic team. I can actually see there are near about 100 viewers already. So without wasting a lot of time, let's just start this webinar on how to be an entrepreneur. It will not be much of the pointers that you basically get online. It's a gist of my own experiences that I've experienced throughout my life, during my business life and other stuff. So let's just start with it. So okay. Introduction, myself Manthan Dakshini. I am somebody who 5 years back used to sit on the same benches where you sit. I used to learn from the same professors to which you learn from. Okay, so the topics for today are the skills that you would require to be an entrepreneur, the story of Ordinary, story of Brillmax, a couple of WH questions, etc. So let's just quickly start with it. Now, skills required. There are a couple of skills that every entrepreneur should have, some basic skills that you need to have to be an entrepreneur. Now, these skills include the first one and very important one is taking high risk abilities. Okay. Now, you throughout your life, you would be bombarded with situations where you'll need to take higher risks, and being an entrepreneur is all about taking higher and higher risk as you grow in the environment. A lot amount of our time or life has been over and above our families and social structure, the culture that we come up from. So even that plays a very good role in the overall human being that you are. So we even have to learn a lot from the culture and the social circle that we come from. That is another point. Coming to the third point is, you if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be comfortable with the roller coaster ride. Okay, so there would be ups and downs throughout your life, where you'll have highs, you'll have lows, but you will have to be comfortable with it. Now, especially if you see this particular roller coaster, it's for ordinary people, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, the roller coaster looks something like this. Yes, the roller coaster for an entrepreneur is this complicated. Okay, now you'll need to develop a innovative mindset. Okay, I would just briefly give a brief about this particular photo. Now, we all Indians love playing cricket. Okay, and from decades we've all been using wooden stumps and bales. Now, a guy, somebody, uh, there's some sort of disturbance. Well, I'll continue. Okay. So somebody somewhere saw an issue as to the umpires were facing problems and there were some wrong decisions being given. And he eventually ended up with this products. He added some sensors, some lighting, and made an improved product. Though not a breakthrough, we're having wooden stumps and bales from decades. We'll be using it for decades to come. Now, any idea as to how much this a set of stumps and bales would cost? Now that it's so innovative, people, we see this being used in almost all the national and international matches. A set of these stumps and bales would cost you somewhere around $40,000. Converting it to INR would be 30 lakh rupees. So it sounds interesting as this cost for a startup to take an innovative and go ahead. The fifth point, the fifth skill that you would require is to get out of your comfort zone. Okay, now we all are being, I would say we all are being blessed that we have a stable family and we are being supported by our families, and we have all the comforts in our life that our families can provide. But in the life of an entrepreneur in years to come, you will eventually need to leave your comfort zone, and the earlier to get you get out of your comfort zone, the better it is for you, because you'll eventually start learning more stuff at a very younger age. So getting out of your comfort zone is one point. Now, the last point, and a very important one, is being free from your financial commitments. Now, I at least meet around 3 or 4 people in a month who say कि यार बिजनेस करना है, आइडिया है, बट क्या करे, आई एम स्टक विथ माई होम लोन्स, आई हैव फाइनेंशियल कमिटमेंट्स, आई हैव माई कार लोन्स. Now you students who are gonna enter the real life world, you will be chased by people to take credit cards, you will be chased for taking loans. Okay, so just keep this one thing in mind. This is not a point as to a very innovative point, a very important thing, but it's something from my experience, and which I have noticed that if not for this particular point, then we would have much more entrepreneurs in the industry. So you have to be free from financial commitments. If you students, you guys, say after going into the industry, you're willing to start a venture of your own, do keep this thing in mind. I don't know what's the age group that I am attending today. Students might not be able to relate as of now, but people with a good age who have gone through this situation would very well agree to my this point. Okay, now that we are up with this basic skills that you would require, let's move ahead to story of an ordinary guy. Now, whenever we think of entrepreneurship as a journey, we always have one thing in mind, that the guy or the founder, he is an extraordinary person. I would just like to give you a gist of, in a story manner, a story of an ordinary guy. He that guy had always lived on the edge. A significant amount of time of his dad went into his dad was an auto rickshaw driver. Okay, so he didn't had all the leisures and the comforts, the good stuff that you all guys possess today. So he always lived on the edge. The future for him, say how a month would go for him, was pretty much uncertain. So living on the edge, you guys, we all say that a picture speaks 1,000 words. So keep remembering these images. It'll be easy for you. Okay. Then second thing, coming from a Gujarati background, whenever he used to go with his dad in the same auto rickshaw, his dad used to tell him, and he always had this particular thought in his mind that stayed with him throughout his life. That was Nokri no karvi and Dhando is dhanno dod. I'd just like to translate Nokri is job, no karvi means you should not do it. Dhando is business, dhanno dod, dhan is money, and dod is a waterfall, which basically implies that you should not do job and you should do business because it's a waterfall of money, or say a money fall. Okay, so this itself is the culture that guy, the ordinary guy, was brought up with throughout his life, which this thought stayed with him forever. By this, I'm no way disregarding or disrespecting any of the people who are into jobs, say it be your professors or people working in NASA, ISRO, anywhere, even a small person. I'm not at all disregarding them. If it was not for the professors, I would not be an engineer today. Okay, so because entrepreneurship is just a mindset, I would say. Even our professors or people working in ISRO, NASA, they have an entrepreneurial spirit in them. They have that mindset in them. Okay, now he always had ups and downs. Now eventually what happened is that guy, his dad decided to open up a venture and get into hoteling business. So they took a rented hotel place somewhere, say in Daisar, and that hotel eventually had to be shut down, owing to some of the reasons. Now what they were left with at that time was huge piles of masalas that they had prepared for the hotel. Now what eventually they did is there was no source of income back then. It was a drop, a roller coaster drop for them at that time. Okay, so what they eventually did it, they looked those particular masalas that they were left with as an opportunity, and they started selling those masalas. Eventually that business grew over time. They added much more varieties of masalas, and that's how the things went. I believe now you can relate why I specifically put this particular roller coaster picture. Now, moving ahead, they even added a product by the name of Pani Puri chutney. That family of the ordinary guy. Okay, they added a instant Pani Puri chutney that was like you just have to open up the packet, put it in water, and you were ready to use Pani Puri. That was the innovative product that they started with. Okay, you'd relate with the photo. Now you always have to push your limits. Now that guy back then, what happened was is his dad expired when, say, he was in ninth standard. Okay, so see, he was always told to push his limits, and he was being sent just take into consideration a small seven a child who is in seventh or eighth standard. He's being sent to Crawford Market to get stuff. And way back then in those days we didn't have smartphones. We were just being given he has been given a map drawn with a freehand sketch. There was no contact as such. Only when he used to return, the family used to know that he's come. So at that stage, he had to have conversation, do the negotiation part, look for options, look out for the other options than the variety of the same product that are available, lift it, travel in the train, and come back. So he has pushed his limits. The guy that we are talking about. So you people having a very leisure life, you should at least start your journey, I would say. So this is for pushing your own limits. Now, story for Brillmax has been told. I have to speak something about my company, but my product is is in the patent pending stage. So not much about Brillmax I'd like to speak, but within a short span of 5 years, and I believe we all are mostly from Maharashtra, Mumbai specifically. So I'll just give you a couple of clients that we have as of today from Mumbai. I believe you all would relate to Godrej, Oberoi, Rustomji, India Bulls. So these are all our clients to which we have supplied for in their residential, commercial, and other projects. Okay, we've worked on many projects with Larsen and Toubro, one of which was the Motera Stadium, which was recently inaugurated at Ahmedabad. We've supplied our product at the Motera Stadium. Then we have Deloitte. It was a great pleasure to work for the Indian government. We've done it for Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. We even have our custom acoustic product, which is into sound insulation and sound prevention. We've supplied it to Cinepolis. Then not very far, just coming to Bandra East near the Kalanagar signal, we have a mall that's coming up. The name of the mall is Maker Max City Mall. Now all the trapdoors there are supplied by Brillmax. Then we've even worked with the Consulate General of Germany and the hospitals and all. Now that's a gist about it. So if me starting within 5 years can have so much clients just within Mumbai, okay, these, as I said, are just so that you could relate to, then even you guys can. Everything has to have a start. Okay, let's just move ahead. Now, when you should start it? Well, I would say as of today, that is the 5th of September. If you are in your SSC, then and you're starting, then I'd say you're on time. If you are in your diploma or 12th, then I'd say you're late. Okay. And I believe much of the crowd today is from the third year, fourth year. If you are from this, then guys, take it from me, you are shit late. I mean it, you're shit late. Okay, but there's nothing to be demotivated as such, because this is where we started Brillmax. I started Brillmax just immediately after my BE. Okay, so we all know. I'd like to give you some quick examples. We all know smartphones. So we all think that Apple is the one who invented smartphones, whereas that is not the case. IBM did. We all know about computer OS, and we think Microsoft is the one, but no. General Motors was the first company ever to make a human operatable with some purpose operating system back then. Then we talk about search engine. You can just, now these days we say just Google it. We don't even say search. Okay. So Google was not the search engine who had invented search engine. It was Archie back then. Okay. Now we have social media sites. We have Facebook prima facie for all of us, has captured the market. But way back then, I've used Orkut. I don't know how many of you also have. And in the start of social media website, it was known as 6 degrees. Okay, so my motive, my intention behind giving you these four examples is that it doesn't matter if you're late in the race, but if you have the intention and you're willing to grow big. And most importantly, IBM would have had some problems, some issues, which was eventually taken over by Apple. They improved it, they took over it. So you can always take over the pace and take over the giants irrespective of when you start. Okay. I hope when to start is clear as of now. Okay. Let's move ahead. Now, what's the holy grail of the whole entrepreneurship business? the whole idea of a startup. What all do you need? What everyone has in their mindsets. Well, we these days it's all over the news, all over the media that so and so company has taken a seed funding, A round, B round. People have gone to round like J and all. So is it money or funding? Well, I would say no, because if you have a good idea, a good product, then eventually money would follow. I'd just like to give you a quick example. Way back in 2017, government does send some funds to IIT Bombay, the one in Powai, and under the Nidhi Prayas scheme, you guys willing to go for an entrepreneurship? You can just jot down the name. The name is Nidhi Prayas in IIT Mumbai. We pitched them. They in a year they get a fund of 10 lakh rupees, okay, which they can split as per their convenience and how much does the startup want. We had applied to them, and they found our idea or product interesting, so they did give us 6 lakh funding to develop that particular product. And guys, this is not a loan. This was not the loan. This is a grant. तुम पैसे ले जाओ, तुम बस प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करो, मेक समथिंग गुड फॉर इंडिया. Okay, that was the motto. So one more example. How many of you remember AskMe.com? Even they had a $300 million funding, which is almost like 200 crores of today's money. But eventually, just because they didn't had a good idea, funding didn't save them, and they had to shut down. Okay, so that's why money or funding is not the secret sauce that you would want to go for. So is it out of the box thinking? Yes, to an extent you need to, but this is not the one thing that stops you from starting a business. Not out of the box thinking. Contacts, well, to an extent, if you have contacts, we all do. We have our parents, we have our professors. We can, these days social media is open to everyone. You can connect somebody on LinkedIn and speak to them, get their expert advice. So even contacts is not the one that stops you from starting. Okay, is it time? Well, talking about time, now that we do not have TikTok, we don't have PUBG, what else we are left with? We are left with loads and loads of time. You just have to use it in the correct manner. Okay, so time is not the one. Is it office space, location? Now COVID has taught us that people working in hi-fi office spaces, they don't need those. You can work efficiently enough even the comfort of your home. So office space or location is also not the holy grail of you for you to start the startup. Guidance or mentor, as I said, you can always, you don't need it at the initial stage, though say some years down the line it's always better to have an expert advisor in a particular field. But at the startup stage, you have a variety of options who can actually guide you, who can mentor you. If you guys have some issue, I would be happy to help you. You guys can just drop me your grievances on WhatsApp. Let's see how we can get it further. You guys can even speak to the professors. They are always there for you. So even guidance is not the holy grail. Experience or industry skills on the initial stage, no, you do not. You eventually develop it when you are in the process. Okay. Now staff or resources, also no, because when you are starting, you'll need to wear multiple hats. Okay, you'll be the HR guy, you'll be the accounting, you'll need to do the product development, you'll need to do the vendor development, you'll need to find clients, you'll need to do the budgeting. You're your own hamal. So staff and resources is also not the one thing. Okay, even equipments and machineries, these days we have a lot of variety of industrial areas. They are at your exposure. You can just go them, and people do job works. Okay, you can take your product, you can get it fabricated, you can get it made from single or multiple vendors. If your product is complicated, you get there are websites where you just have to send your STL files. They 3D print, they laser cut, and say they send it to you via courier. Okay, so even not having machines, equipments, or any of these points that I've mentioned should not be a reason for you to not start. Okay, so much of you by now, I think you would have guessed it. Then what exactly you should be looking for to start? Well, the single most thing that I believe and which all of you would agree to is you should be looking to problems. Yes. If you see a problem, you have the ability, you have the expertise to address it, and most importantly, you have to make a MVP, a minimal viable product out of it. If you are able to address a problem and make a minimum viable product that sells, then voila, you have a idea for the business. You just have to go with it. Okay. Let's move ahead. And once you have the minimum viable product, then all your these problems that we have in our minds can be solved over a span of time. Now, the other essentials. Now, let's, with the fear of sounding very bookish or very point oriented, of which you can get easily online, but just because these points are that essential, I thought might as well include in the seminar. Okay, your product or service should be the one that solves the problem. Basic. It should be scalable. It should not be, you have to find the market for it, the scale of the market. Okay. Third is it should not be easy to copy, not very easy to copy. Okay. There is a huge demand. Again, market survey, people are willing to pay for it. I would say, if I have a problem, I believe someone is accessing the presentation. Okay. If there is somebody who can solve my problem, my particular pain, then I would be more than happy to pay for it. So if you have a problem and you found a solution, you've made a minimum viable product for it, then people would be more than happy to pay you for it. uh, can you guys see the presentation? Is it visible? Can somebody just reply?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes.
visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool.
Yes, sir, it's
Thanks.
visible.
Thanks. Okay. Most importantly, you have to be passionate for it. It's a no-brainer. It's the product or the service which is your business. It's gonna be your baby. So you eventually will be passionate for it. Okay. And obviously it has to be different from the current solutions, because if there are 10 different tabs giving the same solution, or 10 different products giving the same solution, and you are the 11th one, then that nothing that fancies you. You would be just one amongst the hundreds of them. So it has to be different. You always have to have an upper edge of the existing solutions available in the market. Always. Okay. Now this is just a story a couple of months before the lockdown. A guy with, it was in a marriage, I guess. Yeah. One of our relative, he came to me. He's like, "Hey, Manthan bhai, business karna hai, but idea nahi hai, paisa nahi hai." So I just asked him as to which phone is he using. He showed me an iPhone. It was somewhere around worth 35,000. And surprising for me was that his family was enough not that well to do. So I just asked him who pays for this. He's like, Manthan bhai, ye humne EMI pe liya hai, and my family pays the EMI. So that time I told him, if you would have just had a basic 8, 10, 12,000 phone which mostly does all the work, an Android phone for you, and the remaining you would have invested in your business, you would eventually be paying the EMIs by yourself. If your business would have run, you would have actually started selling the products. Okay, so money to start with, you don't need much of the money. Okay, I'll just give a disclaimer as to the steps that I'm giving. I do not want the students to take it on a long term basis, and not even the basic idea of it, because you guys are way ahead of the race. You guys are engineers. Okay, let's just do an activity. Okay, I'll just are you guys able to see the Chrome? Hello?
No.
Yes, sir. We are able to see it.
Yes,
You're able,
sir.
you're able to see the Google Chrome, right? Okay,
Yes.
let's just roughly, now that we've got into the product part, the money problem part, now we have lakhs and lakhs of products registered on this one website. Let's take a single one into example. Let's take, okay, pendant lights, because recently I've bought one for my balcony, so I remember the name. Okay, let's take this one into consideration. Are you guys able to see the product?
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Okay, so let's, I would want students. Okay, I would want students to just shell out, say 5,000, 10,000 of the amount. Take it as an activity, a experiment.
Sir,
It would be.
sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but sir, we are not able to see the Google Chrome.
We are not able to.
Exactly, sir. There is a PPT in the front of us.
Okay, just a second. Okay.
Yeah, now it's visible.
Now it's visible? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was talking about this pendant light which I ordered some time back. So let's take this itself as an example for you guys. I believe you have your unit tests coming up, then you have a month's time, and then you'll be starting with your in-plant training, I believe. So do the planning now or even after the UT, but in that 1 month's time, let's have a hands-on experience on the manufacturing industry, on having a product developed and sold from scratch. Let's just take it as a challenge. Okay, it would not take much of the funding from you. Okay, it's just barely, if you put 5,000 is more than enough. Okay, now let's just go with the product. Now, as I can see, these are rods, maybe say MS or SS rods, which I believe you should be easily be able to see in the modular kitchens in your homes. Okay, now this design, then there's wire, then there's bulb. So go to any industrial area, say if you're staying near Vasai, then you have an industrial area in Vasai. If you're staying in Navi Mumbai, then you have Taloja, then you have uh, many other industrial areas. You have this guy near Rabale. If you are in the western sides, which most of you would be, then you can go to Bombay Dockers, which is hardly 2-3 minutes from Malad station. Okay, where Brillmax had started. So just take this product, but you'll also have to think about, because when you go down there finding vendors, they would not understand the photo. You will somehow just take some straws, just take some wooden sticks, have a glue gun, glue it up, take a basic model with you, show it to the guys there, ask them for budgeting, ask them for materials, ask them how you could reduce the cost of the product. Then once you have it, what's the lead time for it, what's the design, you will have to negotiate it with him on price. Just set a target price in your mind. Now that we know that this particular product with the profit of the seller is available at 900 rupees, so let's keep a target for this. lesser than 900. Okay, so once you have it, then say you have to take this thing to a powder coating guy or a painting guy, then you'll get to learn as to what finishes are available, what is the RAL code as the industry has, then what are the matte finish, then how do they charge, is it as per the volume or is it as per the coverage area of the paint. My whole point is, if you just take, and there are lakhs of product, you guys can take it as per your interest, what fascinates you, or eventually what you were planning to order for your house or anything. You can actually take that particular product as an experiment. Okay, so now that you have got it painted and colored, then you have the bulb and the fittings, you can take it from the local shops. If not, then you can go to Loharchal. There is a very big market for electricals. You would get it at a very good price. Okay, now this dish, I believe you can take a normal household utensil plate that we have at our house, get it powder coated, get it painted, get assemble the whole product. You can then start selling, say, to your colleagues, to your neighbors, or anyone who are looking for this product. Even starting a business this day is not that difficult. You just have to get your letterhead printed, you have to have your name card, and you have to have a bank account, a proprietary, and your proprietary company is formed. It's that simple these days. Okay, I'm not telling you to go for the company, but just take an experience, have an experience, visit those dirty industrial areas, have a first hand feel of what does the journey of the product. Then you'll understand, you will actually develop the mentality as to, just by seeing the product, how would the life cycle of the product from the raw material stage to the finished product to the testing to the packaging, transportation, how it reaches you. Okay, so just take it as, I would love to see results in future. If I don't know, somehow professors are able to share, I would love. But this would be a very amazing learning curve for you guys, and eventually when you get out in the industry post your B, just by taking this experiment, you would have an upper edge over all the others. I believe we have most of the production and mechanical guys. That is why I've taken this. Same is the case with service. You can actually start something at very small stage. If you're able to sell it, well and good, you'll learn marketing skills, selling. Okay, if not, then at the end of everything, you have great exposure, great experience, and you also have a great lamp for your house. Okay, so let's just get with our PPT. Okay, is the PPT visible?
Yes, sir, the PPT is visible.
Okay.
I would kindly request the other participants to keep the audio on mute. Whatever problems you are facing, I'll solve them. Thank you.
Thanks, Abhay. Okay, now that we know how to solve the cash problem or the idea problem, now talking about the idea, that I actually came home and I thought the issue is to an extent from our education curriculum perspective. Way back then we didn't had, now I was just being told by one of the professors that you guys have entrepreneurship as one of the elective subjects, which is a great thing, by the way. Way back then you didn't had it. I don't know how is the curriculum designed for it, but eventually it would benefit all the students to start with on the idea part. Now why you should start a startup? The first and foremost is you would be contributing to the mankind. The screens that you're seeing this webinar on, the things that you see around you, the chairs, all this stuff, these were being contributed by some or the other from the stone age that they have added. Okay, so we had stones, then somebody came up with a better stone. They just pointed it when they used it for hunting. Then they made it more sharper, more better. So eventually, whatever simple ideas you come up with, you improvise on things. You are eventually adding to the mankind. Okay, whatever things you see around us has been a part of a small improvement way back in some decades or recent. So you will be contributing to mankind is the first thing why you should be starting. Okay, it will make you a far better problem solver, just for a sheer reason that you'll be bombarded with hell lot of problems in your way on daily basis, and you will have a very defined or very less time to solve those problems. You would actually develop a mindset, a mentality to solve problems in a very efficient and a very less amount of time, and even your better half would be impressed by this. Now, exponential earnings, this I don't think I need to say it to you guys. There is no end, no limitation to what you can earn from businesses. Okay, you are just limited by your limitations. Experiences, I'll talk, you'll have both good and bad experiences. Let's say we've Brilmax has supplied to Indian Air Force, Indian Navy. So just being the good side of the experience, I don't believe much of the ordinary people would have a chance to visit the headquarters of Indian Navy in Goa or the Indian Air Force. So these are the good experiences that you get, and eventually you also have to face some bad experiences as well with times to come. And you'll always need to wear many hats, as I told you. When you are starting, you are limited on your resources, then you will have to take care of the HR and various other responsibilities that you would have never thought of in your life right now, that you need to do it at that point of time. And yeah, he's grown a beard maybe because of Shravan. You guys would know that I've taken some steps so that you guys don't get bored. Okay, I hope I was just able to motivate you, and uh, that's why I keep repeating it. The best part of business, the most important at this stage for me, is the satisfaction of providing employment. Say my factory workers, when they say send money, couple of them are from Maharashtra itself, some of them come from UP Bihar. When they send their salaries back to their families, and from that money their kid goes to school, they have their livelihood, that mental satisfaction that you get at that time, it is way above the earning part. It can't be compared with anything. It that can just be felt, and you can feel it only if you get into it. Now that we know why entrepreneurship, there nothing is that gloomy. Everything has its cons also. So what is wrong with entrepreneurship, or what are the cons of entrepreneurship? Now, there is an initial uncertainty as to initial when you start for 3 to 5 years, you would always have cash crunches and other things to look out for. You would not know when your next order is going to come from. You would have rents to pay, you would have salaries to give, materials to arrange, working capital to arrange for. You would even have your family to take care of along with the business. So all in all, you have that uncertainty in the initial stages. Then you'll need to overwork, just because you don't have ample resources at that stage. We all will need to say work 12 hours, 24 hours, not 24 hours, say 14 hours. Okay, I've seen people working for 18 hours also at the initial stages of their entrepreneurial journey. Then you'll need to cope up with stress. This is something that I would not say at this stage even you guys might have felt during the exams, but The stress that I'm talking about at that stage in your journey, when you have a lead time, when you have the delivery to go on with. And last but not the least is the social stigma of failure. Being in the Indian industry, living in India, we all have a fear of what if we fail, what people would think about us. Okay, now that we know the why what is wrong with entrepreneurship, I would also say that if there is uncertainty, so is in the case of jobs. Even if you are in job, you would not be surprised if you're not performing or something like that. Your HR would just come you and tell you to put your papers. These days, even not letting you serve your notice period. Okay, so certain uncertainty is there in business, and it is also there in job as well. Thousands of employees these days, they are overworking. Okay, even you might have seen people who are working from their homes just because of they had a 9 to 5 job and they had to travel back home. Their time was limited, but now that they are working from home, there seems to be no end to their day. Much of the job guys who are attending the seminar right now would be able to relate with it. Stress, just imagine the stress part in your business, it's gone if you're solving it. Okay, once solved, your stress is gone. But just imagine if you get into a job which is where you have a difficult boss there. Okay, then you have to stay with it, and that stress piles up like anything. And the last thing, social stigma. I believe Sunil Dutt would be in a much better position to explain this point of कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. If you just go back in past where the Wright brothers had invented their first aircraft. So if many people they would have thought of the social stigma of what people would tell about them on their failures, they would not have done it. So remove this point out of your head of social stigma. Eventually, I'll tell you what will happen is you'll have a person who tell you to not get into this, not get into business. It is all wrong. You'll not be able to do it. You don't have funds. You have responsibilities. You have other commitments. And some years down the line, when you have succeeded in your venture, the same guy who back then stopped you from starting would be telling people, अरे हाँ मैंने तो बोला था ये कर लेगा, he can do it, I had confidence in this guy. Okay, so that's after knowing the 4 points, the 4 wrong points, bad points of entrepreneurship, and knowing that it is not that difficult. Even these 4 points are there in the jobs as well. I would like to just reiterate the title of this slide to from why not entrepreneurship to why not entrepreneurship, guys. Okay, it's just the same thing that you need to face it, but eventually you are working for your own self. You'll do what you want, what you are best at. Okay, let's proceed with it. Okay, now coming to the end of the slide, I'd like to ask you guys. You guys can just unmute yourselves and tell me what I like listening to the answers that I get from young aspiring people to get into entrepreneurship. Okay, what is the single most difficult thing according to you people that stops you from starting?
So,
I would probably have given, yeah, tell me.
so I would kindly request the participants to unmute themselves one by one so that so as to avoid any confusion. You may answer the question that sir is asking.
Can I get some interesting answers, guys?
Hi, sir. This is Sumant.
Yes, tell me.
I think pulling up the resources, sir.
Pulling up the resources. Okay. What else? Can I hear some more answers?
Initial investment.
Initial investments. Again, the second point from the previous slide of the Holy Grail. Some more answers. Come on, guys.
Finding a product.
Sorry?
Finding a product.
Mending up. I am not able to hear you well. Can you repeat?
Finding product.
Finding a product. Okay. Again, you do not have to find a product, man. You have to find a problem. You have to look out for problem. What else?
So knowing if your idea is good enough or probably underestimating your own self.
But that, how would you come to know without starting? You'll need to start it. That's where the answer to this question comes. As per me, the most difficult part of starting a startup is, guys, I've already given the answer in the question itself, that too twice.
Starting.
The most difficult part of starting a startup is to start. Rest all the things, all your problems will fall into place once you just get into it. By not thinking of the other problems that you have, you'd eventually figure out a way, and somehow nature would, you would not have expected a solution coming for your problem from such sources that you would get it at that time. The most important thing is to start. That's why I would highly urge you guys to use that 1 month that you have, take this as an experiment, work over it. You have my word, you all would be in a very superior place. You would always have an upper edge over the people who have not gone. Again, this thing is just an activity to remove the fear out of you guys of starting and knowing the industry. You, as I said, you all are going to be entrepreneurs, engineers. You are very well placed compared to the other people. I don't want you guys to go in the industrial areas and speak to all those guys, but this has to start somewhere. I hope you guys are getting my point. Okay. I would not be surprised if I get to see something like this in future. That's my contact number, guys. If you guys have any queries, you need to give some feedback, some suggestions, or if you're stuck up somewhere, you have some doubts with your journey, let's see how can I help. You can drop me a WhatsApp. That is my WhatsApp number, and we are open to questions now.
Thank you so much, Manthan sir. It was indeed a wonderful presentation. We can now start the question and answer session. So I would request the participants to kindly put up their questions on the WhatsApp group of IIICRC webinar group, where you can put that question on the group, and I will let sir answer those questions. So, and everyone please kindly keep their audio on mute. Thank you. So you may now start posting your questions on the group.
Come on, guys.
Yes, sir. They are putting their questions on the group. I will let you know about it.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. The first question from Jash Patel is, what is the approach for choosing a particular business for its uniqueness to benefit us?
Well, Josh, I would say you have, in terms of benefits, what exact benefits are you looking for in an industry or your particular aspect? What exact benefits are you looking for?
So he's looking for his personal benefits, like how will it be beneficial to us in a personal way? Like, I think that he's asking as in if a business is unique, then will it be able to attract the customers? Then it is.
See, at
Yeah.
to starting a business, you don't go on a very high scale. You always have your market survey, market research done. You get to know the scale of the product or the service that you're planning. So when you are at that stage, when you get the audit done for your business, the initial audit before starting and putting your money, that is when you get the answer for it. I hope I was able to answer exactly what you're looking for, Josh.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that answer. The next question from Utkarsh Kotecha is: as the Indian government is pushing Atmanirbhar Bharat so much, shouldn't we also have websites like Kickstarter and fundraisers for new startups?
Yes, we should have them. In fact, now that China is gonna have some problems pumping the materials like the way they used to flood our markets, it is good, and eventually we always need such websites. But I didn't know. Are we having any IT guys in the stream among the audience? I didn't cater to that issue. We do need such a website. You guys can always start if you are from that background. Because just because of the sheer reason of China that it's gonna have problems, we'll need to develop, and we'll need to develop it fast. So a website or a resource like such at this stage would be very beneficial for the India and the students as well.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. So the next question from Nishit Bhora is: how do I increase the chance of my company getting funded?
Nishit, I'd like to tell you, if just as per the PPT, if you have a product that solves the purpose, you have to start approaching companies who do the funding, especially in that sector, because people who are funding those sectors are well aware about the problem, that particular problem exists in that sector, and which the funding guys are aware of. So at that point of time, when they are already aware about it and you go to them with the solution to that problem, you have a very high chance of getting funded easily. So basically, you need to approach right guys rather than just going to different funding agencies. Just selectively look out for their portfolio as to where they are funded, what industry, what specifics they are looking for. These guys do have a domain in which they work.
Thank you so much, sir, for that answer. So the next question from Sundar Sun is: how to easily gather information and solution for the current problems, how to come up with a new innovative ideas as soon as possible.
See, there is no set step as such to coming up with innovative ideas. You have to be in the problem and think for options. Okay, if your first option fails, you have to try up with your second one, then third one. You have to be inside the problem for as long as you can, till the time you are satisfied with your solution. The more you get into it, the easier for it is to develop the answer, the solution for it.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. So the next question from Jerin is: what is the first thing to do when you start your own business?
Jaren, first thing is to celebrate, or else just tell yourself that you've taken the first leap. That is where most of us don't reach. Okay, so you're already started with that. Now it depends if you say start as to what stage you are in. Okay, so if you already have a product when you are started, then you can just go ahead with the market research, pitching to other people, getting clients for yourself. If you have started with a problem, then you have to start searching for solutions to it, gathering the right candidates to work with you, searching for vendors. It depends as to what stage exactly you're in when you start. What do you call the starting stage?
Thank you, sir. One interesting question from Amit is, what are your takes on using political propagandas or questioning the patriotism of a person for promoting a product? Isn't it absolutely normal? Or
I
isn't it absolutely immortal? For he has also given an example using Indian Army to sell a new game, which is a rip-off of a Chinese game.
Yes, to an extent, politics and business should not be mixed. But at this stage, when we have issues of our data being sent and used against us, at that point of time, I believe for this particular stage, it should not have been from the political side or the army side, but there has to be someone. If students do take this into consideration, they develop it just to take our social or security in consideration. I don't think that's a bad thing as an initiative to start with. Though there could have been some better ways to publish it and promote it, but that is where we are.
Thank you, sir. One question from Sundar Sun is, approximately after how much time period I can become a good entrepreneur?
Well, there is no idea as such. That's why I said if you had started when you are in your 10th standard, uh, the problem solving abilities, the thinking, the mindset, your mind basically develops a process as to how do you look to a problem. So the sooner the better. It again depends as to when you start, what is your cultural background, your family background, how your childhood's been, and various other things. But all in all, say if you are in B today and if you start today on the very starting stage with not much of the resources and you do everything by yourself, 2 to 3 years should be an enough time for you to develop that particular thing in which you'd be able to uh, take care of the vendors, the HR. You would have at least the basic knowledge, say, of accounting, taxation. That 2 to 3 years of being wearing all the different hats, I believe, is more than enough to start with.
Thank you, sir. One question from Uday Srivastav is, what is the effect on startups due to pandemic and a steep drop in GDP?
Well, guys, there is gonna be an effect over the startup industry, I believe. But all in all, just because things are not going well like the way normally it should be, once things open, once we have the vaccines, I believe the things are gonna bounce back. Like the way government is promising a V-shaped curve. I don't know how truthful that is, but yeah, I once heard a story that if there's a storm, a high tide in the sea, and the fishermen are not there, so thinking from a fish's perspective, at that time when there is storm and the fisherman is not there to get the fishes, the fisherman is busy mending his nets, he's repairing his nets. So this drop that we've seen, don't be demotivated as such. Just try mending your nets. Think yourself as a fisherman, prepare yourself hard, so that once the things get back to normal, you have a great jump pre-planned right now.
Thank you so much, sir, for that answer. A question is, what for what should we go? Stay with regular and specific clients, or keep going in search for new clients, keeping regular ones aside? What should we prefer?
You should not leave your regular clients at all. because whatever you are today is because of them. At the same time, you should not just stay with the regular clients. There is no such predefined as to the specific numbers you have to stay with these many clients. You have no end to how many clients you could have. So keeping the regular clients, you should also increase your capabilities, increase your capacity, and always go for new clients as well.
Thank you so much, sir, for that answer. One question from Karthik is, if you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out for a startup, what would it be?
I've already given the answer. In fact, it's on the screen. You don't need an advice. You need to start. Just start it.
Okay, sir. A question from Harshvardhan Manoti is, suppose my business provides less income than I expected, how long should I stick with it?
See, if your business right now is providing less than you had expected, it can be seen into two ways. As to what is the market size? Had you thought about it when you came into the business? If the market size is huge, okay, and currently right now you're having a less of the pie, then you should stick to it. But if during you have not done your initial preparation, the market is less, then there is not a problem of leaving a business, which you eventually get to learn things, and backing off from something where just putting resources, putting your time, when you know there is not much of a market with it, then it's good to just wind it up and leave. I always tell it doesn't matter how much of the pie you own. It always matter how big the pie is. Say the business is of 1,000 crores and you just say capture 10% of the market, you can run the numbers.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. Sir, I guess this question has Hello, sir.
Hello, yes?
Yes, sir. Sir, did you get my question?
No, your voice
Yes, sir. I
got
will
disconnected.
repeat it. Yes, sir. Do you believe there is some sort of pattern or formula to become a successful entrepreneur?
Well, there are some, not as such. It varies from what are you chasing. Okay, but the basics for all of the entrepreneurial journey remains sort of plus or minus, apart from the specifics, the same. I had already mentioned in the slide. I'll share you the presentation. And there is nothing to take disregard for. Say if you, out of the skills mentioned, say you have four, you don't have two, you can always grow over it. You can always learn those skills, get over yourself, be a better you.
Thank you, sir. So one question from Radha Reddy is, we have started up a business and invested a lot of money. If we get a loss, then that is a big failure for us. So what would you recommend us?
Rather, first thing, I don't know what business have you started, or what amount of money and from where those money would have been used into you have invested. But one suggestion that I'd like to give young entrepreneurs is, when you're starting, keep your overheads low, because once your overheads are less, you have much of the resources left to put into specifics.
Thank you, sir. One question from Ajay Kumar is there any problems with other company personalities when we are in the same market where those companies have?
No, I didn't get the question. Could you just repeat it once
Yes.
again?
Is there any problem with other company personalities when we are in the same market where those companies have been?
There's no problem as such. If you have an upper edge, a better product than them, you can always win over them. We back then when we started, we backed our first product, or our first order for the first product. It was a 19 floor tower. We were competing like the odds of companies who have billions of dollars of budget, just because I had an innovative product which was solving their very specific needs at that time. I was providing them the solution for their pain points. Then competitors don't bother you. You I would just like to say खुद को कर बुलंद.
Thank you so much. So one question from Rao sir. How health and well-being helps entrepreneurs in healthier and cheerful business decision making? Give some healthy tips.
Well, I'm not an expert into health. Okay, even in fact, I would need some advice over that, to be very frank. But yes, being healthy and well-being is very important, because if you're not mentally, physically healthy, you would not be able to give the time, the attention that you would need to give to your product, to your baby at that time. Also, I would say sleep around 8 hours, exercise for 60 minutes, and eat well. Even I'm working over it, but yes.
Thank you, sir. So one question from Nishit Bhura is, how did you get the idea of becoming an entrepreneur? And sir, counter question to that is, were there any problems you faced while initially starting Brillmax?
Uh, well, obviously there were problems. Firstly, when I left, when I passed from the college, I had a job in my hand from TCS. Also, my implant training was in Godrej, the process equipment division. Owing to my project, I at Godrej has been offered a job which was with twice the pay that TCS was offering me. And also I come from a humble background back then, so all my education were on loans. So but somehow having TCS or Godrej didn't fascinate me. I wanted to start something of my own. So that's when I didn't join any of the companies, and I started with Prillmax. Obviously, I had to face a lot of problems, but somehow the experiences that you go through make you a better being. Even today, 5 years down the line, the product that we have developed, we still say that our product is a shitty product, and we still try to find problems in the product, in the process, because what can be measured can be improved. So we find problems until date. Even after 5 years, we are still improving our product for the better.
Thank you, sir. One question from Sundar Sun is, will naming a company play an important role?
It does if you are eventually competing against somebody who has already had a trademark for the name. So it's better, and these things are online now. It doesn't make much of the sense in the business, doesn't carry much of the value, but in terms of branding, yes, it does, because you'll eventually need, when you're expanding to international markets, you'll need to not have copies of your business by the same name. So just to avoid that, it's better to have a unique name, especially it's which the one which has not been registered in the class or category you're planning your work in.
Thank
I
you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're saying something?
Yeah, I just hope I was able to answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, sure. Um, 1 minute, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, so can you provide some tips to find out problems in different industries?
Guys, you just have to uh, look out for problems in yourself, and not in various industries. Talking about the personal aspect, your mom basically is the biggest innovator that you could find around. Talking about problems, it depends on the area of your interest. What fascinates you? You get into that particular area and you go through the process. You'd eventually find problems in the system, or even if you're not in the industry, you can might as well speak to people. You can have conversation these days owing to LinkedIn, Facebook. It's very easy to connect to people. You can speak for them their problems. See if you can work something around for the solution of that particular problem over it. Even guys who are thinking funding as a problem, these days Mudra scheme, then Startup India, you have apps like MoneyTap and what all not for instant funding. So it has become way easier for you guys. Not say easier. It is still gonna be a roller coaster ride, and not the first roller coaster, the second one. But yes, that's about it.
Thank you, sir. We will take two more short questions. Is it better to do startups with groups or with individually? So that was the first one.
Well, if you're okay with diluting the equity, and if you're getting value at the initial stage of the co-founders, if they are coming in with value, not just money, because money is never an issue, then you should be going for it. But skills is one thing that you should be looking for. So it doesn't matter if you think yourself you are capable enough, you can individually just go ahead and get the idea implemented, and you have the skill and the time to learn everything, then you can always go over it. All the best to you. But it's just to cut short the overall time required, it's always good to have a helping hand with people in various expertise.
Thank you, sir. A question from Rao sir is, how much time will it take to patent our ideas in the Indian context? He's asking about it in the Indian context. And also, how much time will it take uh, for that and basic legal laws necessary for business?
See, taking the second question first, the basic legal laws. Sorry, it depends upon the industry. Say if I have to start, for me, that I started a manufacturing company, I had to take a shop and establishment license. I have to register my company, get GST, get even the what do you call, the metal cutting license. So there are varied ways of licenses and that you have to go through, but it varies. If you are a IT company, then compliances for you would be different. If you are into manufacturing, if you're into service, it varies from industry to industry. But to start with, or for very specific solution if you need, I would say there are a couple of websites like Vakil Search, India Filings. You can just call those guys and ask them that I'm planning to start so and so ideas, and what all things would you need. And just because they are there to provide you with the services, though after the call you take the service from them, you don't take the service, but the latest ideas, the latest licensing terms, you would get it for just a phone call away. And now talking about the patent part, even I'm waiting for it. People do say it's 18 months. So I would know, I'm not an expert into patents. I believe you guys have some patenting council as well in the college these days. So I'm not the expert of patent, but 18 months is what they tell.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, even I had a question. So, what do you think about nepotism in business? Like, if a father is making his son the owner of the company, even when he doesn't have that much experience in it, sir. So, what is your views on that?
See, my views over nepotism in business are that if a father gives the company to his son, but eventually the son doesn't have interest or he is not versed with the business, well versed with the process, he is not well versed with the business idea, then eventually he'll end up destroying the business. What his dad has with blood and sweat grown up in these many years throughout his life, his son will just end the business. And I have seen and experienced a couple of them. So nepotism never works forcefully, but at the same time, if he just has the willing or the interest in the business, then I think there is nothing wrong. If his kid also has the same interest and he is given the business, then he can do wonders also.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering all the questions and having so much of patience. Uh,
Thanks. Also, one more thing which I actually forgot is today being the Teachers' Day. I don't know how many professors we have online. I would just want to wish all the professors a very heartily happy Teachers' Day. Well, you can go ahead.
yes, sir. I thank Mr. Manthan sir for dedicating his time and efforts in making this webinar a successful one. Also, thank you everyone for attending this webinar. We hope that you all liked it and was up to your expectations. Please do fill in the feedback form to avail of the certificate and help us know about your views and feedbacks. Also, before leaving, can someone share this brochure screen?
Thank you, sir.
I can just log off.
Yes, sir, sure.
Well, thanks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you liked the webinar and found it informative and useful. Our next webinar is on hardware and software of microstereolithography on 12th September 2020 from 4 to 5 pm. Microstereolithography does microfabrication using the 3D printing technology. You will be amazed to know that microstereolithography can make parts that are 4 to 5 times finer than the size of the human hair. So we hope to see you next time. Also, please do subscribe to our channel IIIExCRCE. Thank you and have a nice day.